I have a pretty interesting question. In lieu of all the radicals who've turned themselves in, and a lot of people who've been arrested with cocaine, whether it be possession of large amounts or whatever, and the fact that you have really good lawyers, I mean, no one seems to have done any time. And I think that's kind of the bottom line.
Which group did he want to take? The radicals or the cokeheads?
Well, the point is, I mean,
Kathleen Wilkinson is going to prison for 1 to 3 years. She turned herself in.
Do you think Bernadette Dorn is going to prison?
Dean.
My opinion, I don't think she is. I don't think she is. I hope she isn't. I don't think she is. That's all. As for myself, I'm going to prison. You're looking at the first famous person that's going to prison in America for coke, and that's just it. I am.
You don't think
if I was not who I am, the charges would have been dropped already.
You don't think there's any possible way to, you know, get some kind of?
I don't have lawyers, by the way. I have one. Fame kind of makes you famous enough to have 6 or 7 lawyers. I have a lawyer.
But I mean, Norman Mailer and a group
He's not a lawyer.
No, but I mean, a group of prominent people have, you know, gone on record and will go on record to say that, you know, you are a viable...
The prosecutor has close to 300 letters from, you know, extremely reputable names, and you mentioned Norman Mailer. There's Doctorow, George Plimpton in the arts, Ramsey Clark, Jack Youngerman, chairman of the board of Time Life, has made his appearance. You know, Parade Magazine, the chief editor, you know, some members from a very famous political family in Massachusetts have made this statement. A lot of people have sent letters and spoken up in my behalf. You have to understand, when I was Barry Freed, fighting to save the St. Lawrence and the Thousand Islands, I won the commendation of the governor of this state. I didn't start off trying to save New York's greatest river. It was just a river that was there. I didn't even know it would be beneficial to New York. I thought I would be surely caught, you know, from the kind of organizing and being so open, going on television, going on radio shows, and all the kind of things you have to do to organize. But it didn't work out that way, and New York was going to get bum-wrapped if this project happened on the river. They were going to lose between $100 million and $150 million a year. And we alerted all the various departments. Save the river, Department of Transportation, Department of Tourism, on, until we got a coalition working in Albany that would help us in this fight. And we won this battle this spring. And it was of great help to New York. And if I had come back with this and Senator Moynihan's embrace and good wishes and all that, and being appointed to a federal commission as New York's sole representative, if I was just Barry Freed, the charges would have been dropped. I would have been given a Citizen's Award. But there's none of the newspapers that have explored exactly what went on in that battle. New Age magazine, which now has an article by me, if anybody wants to read it, as did Parade magazine. You know, it's a little simple in Parade or something. I love River. River love me. River love you.
The New York Post has come out with a big article on is Buddy Jacobson the guilty of a frame?
Yeah, well, they put him in. Now they're trying to get him out. It's just to sell papers, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, wouldn't it look ludicrous if they sent you away and nobody else really went away? And I'll just end with this. The last person famous arrested for cocaine was Dan Passerini, quarterback of the Oakland Raiders, and they said it was an illegal search.
Sure. Oh, well, Robert Evans.
Come on.
Robert Evans, the director, producer of Popeye.
Right. Was 19,000.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think it'll be totally obvious if they send you away when they let all these other people go?
You sound prejudiced.
You ought to write to Governor Carey. You ought to write to the Narcotics Division in New York, to the prosecutor, and voice your opinions.
I will.
They're afraid of a backlash, which
now,
you know, as far as I can tell, is in Louisiana someplace.
Before we take another call, I thought of a question, which was.
Okay, good.
This is very far-fetched. And here, is it possible that they were not trying to find him?
Huh? No, they didn't try every single minute, but they tried every third minute. No, in fact, I'm getting the records soon from that period. The Freedom of Information Act is sending me the records.
Because you were gone so long.
No, they busted They busted my car 12 hours before I turned myself in. They were looking in the trunk, looking in the back seat, grilling the people that were driving it. They were looking. They looked last year a lot. They questioned the people. You know, They did their job. I did mine. But it was not a manhunt.
Yeah.
You know, manhunts only happen to women. Angela Davis, Susan Sachs, Patty Hearst. It's true. In my lifetime, every manhunt has been with a woman.
Hello.
We ought to change.
Hello, Abbie.
We ought to change that term, right?
Yes.
Right?
Hello.
Abbie, Coca, hello.
Hi.
First of all, Abbie, I want to say that after all these years, it's really great to see that you're, you know, back in the public eye again and loose and relaxed. And it's really good to see you and have you back. That's number one.
But
number two, I got
tonight.
an idea for you that I want you to think about. I know, like when Keith Richards was busted some time back.
Yep.
And what they did was have him, you know, do a concert instead of doing time.
Right.
Now, being the greatest contemporary media event organizer of our time, I don't know how much ice it will cut with the courts of the particular people that are on your case, but it could certainly create a new Abbie Hoffman media event for you to do some kind of mass public service thing. I don't know what it is. I leave that to you.
It's already been thought of. It's been, and I know what it is. And Keith Richards was sentenced to give a concert for the blind people,
right.
And I offered to sing for the deaf, of course, right following in his way.
Yeah, I should go with you.
But I'm glad you have that view. I think you should write the narcotics prosecutor with that view. You know.
Absolutely, everyone should write a letter.
Sterling Johnson, I don't even know where it is, but it's in New
York
City.
We have thousands of viewers.
Thousands?
Thousands of viewers. We are the most watched show on cable. I am, in fact, the queen of cable TV.
Wow. Far out, queen.
So, I mean, a lot of people are watching right now, and they want to help you.
Yeah. Well, they can organize letter-writing campaigns to the governor. He'll send them back a letter saying, well, in this state, in this country, we have a separation of the executive branch and the judicial branch. Then you can get an opinion on Richard Nixon about whether there is such a separation, because he got pardoned by one branch and not the other. And on, and of course the governor plays a big role, and you know, has made some statements and is kind of wavering back and forth. They can write Senator Moynihan and tell him to get in on it. He actually said, everyone in New York State owes Barry Freed a debt of gratitude for his organizing ability. It's in the congressional record, anything.
Let's take another call, and I want to say that you know, people.
They're dodging a little.
I'm sorry.
Those big politicians, they like to conveniently dodge.
Sure. Who could do it better?
Right.
All right, let's see if anybody's worth talking to. Hello? We only have a few minutes left.
Hello?
Hello?
Good evening, Coca. Good evening, Abbie. I'd like to ask Abbie about the night of the Abbie Hoffman rally that was here in New York.
I wasn't there.
You were not there?
No. I've been asked that, but you see, I didn't go because if I had been busted, you know, 4,000 people would have been bummed out and felt it was their fault. That they all set me up.
Hold on, let me turn down my television.
You know?
Good idea.
They want 4,000 people.
How come in the last few months there's been so little talk about you in the press? You know, whereas when you were first apprehended.
Well, I've been speaking around the country for my favorite cause, the Internal Revenue Service.
Yes. They come and they grab your money, right?
They take it right out of the school treasury. They break the little kiddie's piggy bank, grab all the money. It's just disgraceful. I'm speaking to Queens tomorrow. Can I say that?
Yes, please.
Queens. I don't know where it is, but
you don't
it's
know
over
where
there.
Queens is.
Well, the Yippies once rented a bus and took people on a tour of Queens.
Hey, Abbie, if you've got any good...
This led to the anti-busing movement, I think.
What?
Queens College.
I'd just like to get to less...
Creedmoor. I'm speaking at Creedmoor. Right.
Moving on to less ethereal matters, I'm just curious...
1 o'clock if they want to come.
How it feels to be balding at this stage of a person...
Oh, right. You know, no, I'm disguised as a skunk, actually, see?
A reverse mohawk, is that it?
You know, hair today, gone tomorrow. That's what they say. I mean...
A legend in his own mind.
I think that was really rude. No. Goodbye. Hello.
That's right.
Hi, Coca.
Hi.
There's a big balding vote.
I wish you would alternate between lines. I've been sitting for 3 calls. But that's all right.
Sorry.
Pardon?
Sorry!
That's okay. Secondly, suggestion. There's a third one, so don't hang up, please. Secondly, suggestion. Why don't you put the address up, or find some address of the prosecutor or whatever it is that we can write, so you can put it down in black and white, and we'll all write it down.
I thought he said
and now for the third one.
You just write. There's an address at the end of the show of writing to me. If you write to me, we'll get back to you about helping out Abbie.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Thank you. And now a human interest question. Abbie, did you see the movie, I think it was called The Big Fix, with Richard Dreyfuss?
Sure did.
And what was your reaction to the Abbie Hoffman character in the movie?
Well, I wrote quite a lengthy analysis of that movie in Village.
Oh, I missed it.
I thought it was essentially cozying up to the myth of you know, active in the 60s, turned sour in the 70s, turned greedy in the 80s. And I think it used me as a kind of symbol